Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia Armendariz, and today I'm going to be talking about the neighborhood Stetson Hills here in Colorado Springs, and also not only just things about the homes, sale prices, square footage, the usual stuff I go over, but I'm going to talk about the reasons that I feel this neighborhood is a really good choice for first-time home buyers. Definitely it's a good choice for everybody. This is a very thought out neighborhood, but I'm going to talk about the several reasons, probably top 4 or 5 reasons I feel this neighborhood is a good idea for first-time home buyers. So if you have any questions over anything that I mentioned, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to help you with your real estate needs, as I am a licensed broker here in Colorado. And also, if you have any questions in general, just also reach out or put them in the comments and I'll try and get back to you. And in the meantime, if you could hit that subscribe button and bell to get notified when I make new videos each week on everything that is living in Colorado Springs. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's begin by showing you guys where Stetson Hill is on the map. It is right off Powers Boulevard, kind of on the northeast side of town, as I've talked about several times in many of my videos. Powers Boulevard is just full of shopping and restaurants and what have you. There is so much to do up and down Powers Boulevard. That does run north to south, south to north. So Stetson neighborhood is right off of that. If you do enter the neighborhood from Powers Boulevard, you're going to come across major shopping like King Soopers, Starbucks, gas stations, fitness centers, fast food, bars and restaurants, Home Depot, just things of that sort. That is a really busy shopping center right there where Powers Boulevard and Stetson Hills actually meets. And then as you go into the community, you're going to pass a couple of condos, some townhouses, and then you will venture into the single family homes in that area. Stetson Hills is one of the bigger neighborhoods that we have here in town. It also has the most parks per neighborhood than any other. There are around 6 or 7 off the top of my head right now. They all have several trails that kind of wind and weave through the neighborhood themselves. And then, as I've also mentioned before, Colorado Springs is just known for having a ton of trails in general. You can pretty much get around anywhere in town using one of those trails, from the outskirt neighborhoods like Stetson Hills all the way to downtown, and then also those trails can take you into the mountains if you're cycling or something like that. So as I mentioned, I think Stetson Hills is a really good neighborhood for first-time home buyers. It is a good neighborhood in general. It's very sought after, but I think for first-time home buyers, you guys are really gonna like this. First of all, the home prices. Right now, Stetson Hills is seeing a sale price of $340,000 to $585,000. Also though, the average sale price is going to be around $430,000, and usually those are going to have 4-bed, 3-bath, 1,500 square feet to possibly 2,000 square feet. Going to mostly be 2 levels, 2-car garage. But what I really like about this neighborhood is you can get that size home and you can get it at that price, that average price right now of $430,000, because the homes are a little outdated. Most of the homes were built around the early 2000s, 2010. It was one of the first big neighborhoods that when the building started happening on the east side of town, Stetson Hills was one of the first neighborhoods that was up and coming and new and everybody wanted to be there. But now things have expanded even more, and over the last 10-20 years, things have also gone more east and then also more north. So you can find some of those more newer homes with the newer trends, the open space, the gray color schemes and palettes. You can find that in Wolf Ranch, Briargate, Flying Horse, some of those neighborhoods, but those are going to be around the 700, 800 thou and up. I like that this neighborhood does still reflect that 2000 to 2010 interior vibe. It's not old enough to where it needs to be remodeled quite yet, but it's still not completely outdated like something from the 50s or 60s or 70s. It's still nice, but it doesn't have those interior trends like we are seeing in those neighborhoods I just mentioned. So you're getting homes at that $450 price, little lower, little more, depending on the home itself and the lot. square footage, all that. But for the most part, you're still getting a good home that's not completely outdated, but it also can't demand those higher price points because it doesn't have the interior to reflect it. Second reason that I really like Stetson Hills for first-time home buyers is a lot of first-time home buyers here in Colorado Springs are military. We do have 5 military installments, and therefore we get a lot of military relocating here. So Stetson Hills is a good price point. It's in a good school district. It's in District 20, which is one of our better districts here in town. But also Stetson Hills is a quick shot to a lot of our military bases, especially Peterson Air Force Base, Schriever Air Force Base. I've done videos on that, full tours. You can check that out. I can put the link here. But Stetson Hills is just a quick shot. You can either get to either of those bases down Powers Boulevard, or also on the east side of the neighborhood is now Mark Sheffield. That is a quick shot down south to Peterson Air Force Base and also Schriever Air Force Base. You can also technically take Powers Boulevard even further south and hit Fort Carson Army Base. So depending on time of day and traffic, you can get there in 10 minutes, maybe all the way to Fort Carson. You speed a little bit more, but I'm gonna say on average, it's just quick shots to all 3 military bases within a 10 to maybe 15-minute drive. So it's another reason that I really like Stetson Hills for first-time home buyers. Another reason that you might not think of is I like Stetson Hills because it is good on the inspection report. And what I mean for that is when you are a buyer and that you go under contract on a home, you're gonna do an inspection on that home. And a lot of times, things that we find in homes here in Colorado Springs on the west side of town are roots in the sewer and the plumbing. The west side of Colorado Springs has a ton of pine trees and just trees in general, but especially because it does sit kind of up on Cheyenne Mountain or Pikes Peak. Those western neighborhoods are gonna usually have a lot of roots and problems in the sewer, and that always becomes an issue. But on the east side of town, Stetson Hills doesn't quite have naturally the pine trees and the big trees that could cause sewer disruption or piping issues, but it is old enough, like I said, 2000 to 2010, it's still old enough that it still has a lot of maturity landscaping in the neighborhood. You're gonna have trees decent size now, you're gonna have bushes and all the parks that have beautiful landscaping. So you're getting that mature landscaping without all those issues, because finding roots in your sewer or having sewer issue because of the trees, that can get pretty costly. You actually, as a buyer here in town, can ask the seller to address it. They don't have to, but if they don't, that could possibly thousands of dollars that you need to address down the road if you continue to move along with that purchase. So, like I said, Stetson Hills, old enough to have that mature landscaping throughout the neighborhood, but also not gonna have the big major pine trees that we're gonna find on the west side of town. So might be a little easier on the budget and might be a little easier on the inspection report when you're under contract. And last reason that I think Stetson Hills is such a good neighborhood for first-time home buyers, but like I said, also just anyone in general, is because most first-time home buyers are now only staying in their home for 5 to 7 years. It's not like back in the day when your parents bought a house and they were in that house for 50 years. Nowadays, people are only staying in homes 5 to 7, maybe 10 years at the most, but people aren't buying their dream home right off the bat. They're buying just their first home. They're building some equity, which definitely can happen here in Colorado because we're appreciating like crazy, but they're gonna take that equity in 5 to 7 years, turn around, sell it, and then go buy maybe possibly their dream home or just a bigger home because their family's expanding. Stetson Hills is still good because of all the things that I just mentioned. It's gonna be a great option for you when you're ready to turn around and sell in a few years, to keep it instead of sell it and make it a investment rental property. You're gonna have definite ease in renting because, like I said, it's close to those military bases. We have military coming in all the time. Sometimes they know they're only gonna be here for a short amount of time, short leave, so easy rental possibilities there, or just people coming in to Colorado Springs in general. Cost of living is going up slightly across the whole US, as it is here in Colorado Springs, so having that rental option is gonna be possibly money in your pocket, and also gonna be just something for you to hold on to. If the economy ever tanks, if your situation personally ever changes, you will have that home. I think Colorado Springs is a good rental market, again, because of all that military, and then also just Denver and surrounding cities are getting so large and so big that people are just now venturing to Colorado Springs. How could you not? It's beautiful, it's still affordable, and I think holding on to a home in Stetson Hills is never going to go wrong for you down the road if you do decide to keep it as an investment rental. So there you go, guys. There's just an insight into Stetson Hills here in Colorado Springs, and a couple reasons as to why I feel it'd be a good choice for first-time homebuyers or just anyone else interested in living in the area. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Comment below. Feel free to call me, text me, email me. My information is there listed for you. And if you guys can, hit that subscribe button and bell to get notified when I make new videos each week on everything that is living in Colorado Springs. And so until next time, I hope you guys have a good one.